Hey, Kia, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Yvette?
I'm doing good. Just hanging in there, and the night is almost over
Yep.
for
You got me up.
sure.
You got me up late today.
Oh, you supposed to go to bed?
Listen, I be in the bed at 8 sometimes.
Shut up. Do you?
Yep. I be on my phone though, but yeah.
Just be on there squirreling on social media.
Mhm.
I know that's right. So, tell me, what was life like growing up?
Life was extremely difficult. I think that's probably what gave me my drive in life. So both my parents were addicted to drugs. I was the oldest of five siblings. I have three sisters and one brother. And my brother recently passed due to COVID. But
Sorry.
thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, life was pretty. It was fun, but it was difficult. We was poor. We was very poor. So.
So,
Um,
what motivated you to go into the hair industry from it being giving you that drive from your childhood?
I always say to everyone that I've always like it's like hair and me are like one and the same. I like going back to like my earliest memories at like 4 or 5. I've always like was getting my hair like anytime I had a hairstyle, I would take it out if when I could get my hair done and try to duplicate it right away. Just
Mhm.
something I guess that maybe kind of let me escape reality. I did a lot of dress like fantasy dressing up. I loved like hair pieces, even though like the little cheap beauty supply ones, but but it's everyone always tells me that. Like we always knew you were going to be in the hair because you would be in the bathroom all day trying to do your hair. You didn't care about no clothes, you didn't care about anything. So, it's a real passion and love for me. There's like a real definite passion and love for me.
That is dope for real. Just for you to just even be in the industry. So what year did you actually start everything when you was like, I want to sell hair, I want to like you doing wigs,
I know,
hair, lashes, you
crazy.
doing it all.
So actually I 19 years ago is when I went to cosmetology school. And just, I guess it was like kind of some things just happened. Like, I think, like you just meet destiny. My first job out of cosmetology school, I worked for a hair augmentation studio. So it was mostly like, like white women hair replacement. And I was like, while I was there, and I mean, they're making so much money. White people spend more in hair than black people, I think, to be honest. I was like, wow, you know what? Why can't we have something like this, like for black people? Like, like a real nice place where, you don't have to be at the salon all day. Like sometimes when I would be at the salon, I go at 7 in the morning and then I wouldn't leave till like 8 o'clock at night. It was just like it was professionally run. Like it was like a well-oiled machine. And I was like, wow. I think that was the first, yeah, about 19 years ago is when I really started looking at that. And then I started importing hair from Asia about that time. It was really only honestly just for my own personal use. Because, I love quality and I love hair. Like I spent so much money on hair. It's crazy. And then from there, my friends wanted hair, other hairstylists wanted hair, other salon owners wanted hair. And then it just kind of progressed from there.
Wow. So what do you think about the hair industry now? Because it got to a point everybody was selling hair.
Everybody still listen. When an old lady at my church was selling hair, that's what I was like. Wait, hold on. Wait, no. I was like, you is 70 something years old. So that's what I was like, you know what? Listen, it's like I don't know how to explain it. It's interesting. And it's just interesting. It's like weird to me because I remember like it was so cliche back in the day, like having hair like, oh, what you have horse hair. But now I mean it's like chewing gum. Everybody it's like chewing gum. But I kind of, I work with a lot of like different people in the beauty industry.
Okay.
By mentoring them and stuff. And I think everyone thinks that. Like, even though I know everyone does sell hair, like if you're in an industry, you think everybody does it because you're just so close and connected to it, so you constantly see it. It's just that's the world we live in today. But I know they ain't got the
No.
quality I got most of the time, so
But one thing I do like about how you are in the hair industry, you help people. And you do it for cancer patients, of anybody of any sort of hair loss. So what motivated you to even go in that direction and taking the hair industry into that level?
I can't. Well, I will say that partly it kind of, things just sometimes just happen. So
Right.
when I first opened up our intriguing hair in 2013, um, we started online, and then we had a store location where we also installed hair, and that was like 2015. Um, During that same time, people like just started coming to us that had hair loss, and they were women from all different ethnicities. It wasn't just African American women. And I realized, like, now in hindsight, they kind of had the same pain points that African American women had. Like, they wanted a private setting. They wanted a private setting. They wanted, this is all we focus on is hair extensions and wigs. We don't do anything else. So that kind of happened, like I say, in about 2015. And then as I started to see that, I was like, I started to see other companies that, like much older companies, like very much older companies, like 50 years in the industry, that they were able to, bill insurance companies for it. So it literally took me from 2015 to about 2019, just doing market research, just trying to like penetrate the market somehow. And it was like, I kept getting the door shut in my face. Like, I would contact like different charities, like, like the American Cancer Society, like, hey, I'm a hairstylist, I want to figure out a way. And it was just like, no, we're not interested.
Wow.
We already have the people that we need. And it was a very long battle. But I'm glad I did stick through it, because especially if, like, I want hair for fashion, but when you need hair just to feel like, especially women are so connected to hair and femininity that
Yep.
when those clients, it like literally, it's like a crime session, and they're some of the most beautiful people. Like, they don't care, like, like they're not vain people. They just want to look like how they used to look maybe before the hair loss, or they just want to like fit more into society. So being able to help them was like, it was a hard, long battle, but I'm pretty excited for where we're at. I'm really excited about the future. Our Senator, Ayanna Pressley, she actually introduced legislation that anyone that has like Medicare or like any type of Medicaid, that they should be able to get a wig through, like, for free. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping that legislation pass pretty soon. That's really exciting. That like changes the game for a lot of people, because sometimes you can't afford private health insurance. So I'm
Yeah.
pretty excited.
Yeah, that is really good because it's so many people that do need the hair and they got hair lossage PCOS is so common. A lot of women have hair losses from that, and also COVID is now even something where people is finding the medical conditions of their hair
A lot.
loss.
It's just hair loss has a lot to do with stress too. So these last 2-3 years have been crazy for I mean, I haven't seen as many people with hair loss, and honestly, a lot of people think they might have. A lot of people, like, they just automatically assume that they might have some type of form of alopecia, but it could be stress. And I'm seeing a lot more. Like, I'll say maybe the last 2 years, a lot of hair loss from women that are pregnant. Like, after you have a baby, you experience huge amounts of hair loss. And I think maybe also COVID has to, plays into that as well. The stress of that, going through childbirth, just very interesting.
Wow. So when you get patients like that and what how do they feel? Like, what are things that you do to make them feel good about themselves? Because sometimes their self-esteem end up decreasing and they don't feel beautiful or anything. What are some of the things that you do to help them, remind them that they are beautiful
You know, I,
regardless?
well, part of it is I feel like you have to meet people where they are. Um,
Right.
like, so I mean, it varies a lot. There's a huge percentage of people that have hair loss. They're still dealing with their own self-confidence. It's
Right.
hard for them to even go to a location. They don't even, like, it's the fear of just, dealing with it. So many times see women that have hair loss is like, it's an emotional thing. We're crying. I'm crying along with them. They might have to bring somebody with them, and that's okay if they have to bring someone to feel comfortable. They just, and it's weird too because sometimes people have hair loss and they might be married to someone for 30 years, but that person has never seen them without hair. So like just think about that. So
Yeah.
them coming to me and they don't know me or know us and being that vulnerable and comfortable, like to be their authentic self. It's a huge thing. It's dealing with emotion. Like sometimes hairstylists can be like therapists, or
Right.
I feel like you just got to meet people where they are at. Um, and then I think what most of the time, honestly, it's the outcome that makes them.
Yeah.
Like it's like I really didn't do anything. Like I just did my job, and the outcome just makes them extremely happy. And I have so many different target consumers. Like I have professional African American women. I have women in the trans community, and I have women from all ethnicities experiencing a medical hair loss. But to be really honest, the people that are experiencing medical hair loss, those are some of the most literally changed my perspective about life. Because they're very grateful, and they are appreciative of life. Like you have to be appreciative and be grateful for what you have. Like in any moment anything can change, but they're just so happy. Like just
Yeah.
as individuals, they just have it together. Like they make the experience so much different. I even tell my other customers, I'd be like, you have hair. Imagine you didn't know, like someone might be having a little bit of thinning, like at least you have hair. Some people don't have hair. Imagine, being a 12-year-old girl and you have no hair, you have no eyebrows, you have no hair on your head. Imagine having to deal with that and just have to, walk out the door and just have self-confidence and know, like, I'm beautiful anyways. That
Yeah.
right there is like, amazing. That, might be dealing with bullying and things like that. So I definitely I've gained more from my customers with hair loss than they have given me, to be honest.
Now that's deep because that really comes with passion as well, because you're taking on so many energies and everything, but you
Mhm.
see the light of everything when it's all said and done. You seen that struggle in them not having hair to you just actually beautifying them in a way to make them feel good.
Yeah, I'm all about energy.
Man, you too?
Listen, like we gotta be on the same wavelength. We gotta, it's all about positivity.
Yeah,
All about positivity.
you have to. And speaking of positivity and energy, with you being in the industry for so long, you dealt with a lot of energies of people. And not even just with you dealing with clients of you doing a hair, but you dealt with people in all different types of ways.
Mm-hmm.
Much of a struggle that you have been through of different type of emotions and feelings of owning a business and dealing with customers.
It was listen. It is one of the most life changing things that you ever deal with. I
Yes.
literally let me. When was this? Okay, so like when COVID happened, okay, so we're dealing with COVID, like sales are down, people aren't going out. Like we had a state mandate that we had to be home. Then I have clients that they're like, hey, I still need my hair done. I don't care that we can't go out. What am
Right,
I
right.
supposed to do? I'm like, what would you want me to do? Go to your house? So that happened. And then like during a protest, like a George Floyd protest, they broke into my store and like vandalized it, stole all. I mean, it was crazy. And I remember I was like, I thought I had been through everything at that point. But I remember being in bed, like just crying. And I was like, why am I couldn't even get out of bed. Like I was just like, I was like, is it over for me? What's going on? Like I was already experiencing so much. Like our revenue was down like 70%. I'm like, how am I going to pay my employees? Like some of my employees are single, like, their whole family depends on them. When are we going to be back open? When is the world going to be changing back to normal? And then
Right.
that happened. And then unfortunately, I think that was like our third break-in. So I couldn't even use my insurance because if I did, then I wouldn't have insurance anymore. So that was like a moment. I was like, you know what? I had to go to therapy.
Ooh, that's good. I'm glad you went.
I went no, listen, that was, and I thought I had it. Therapy really did change me, to be honest, because I thought I had it together, and it was weird too because you never know how much childhood trauma you hold on to, like things that you don't even think about. It was
Yeah.
like I had like a black wall and a brick wall to a lot of things, and then through therapy, I opened my eyes a lot. So therapy is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Um, that really did help me, to be honest, because I was like, what am I going to do? And I had to face a lot of the demons of my past,
Yeah.
come to terms with a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but when something traumatic happens like that, it's like so many wounds just open and they just start hitting you. You be like,
Yeah,
wait, what? You
no,
be
that's
trying
what
to
happened. I don't even listen. I don't even like. Listen. I was an open. I was like things I had forgot about. I was mad at my little brother. I was mad at my little sister from things from 20 years ago. Like what in the world?
man, just
Listen, I
hitting
felt
you
like
so
listen,
heavy.
I was literally like this in the bed. Like what am I gonna do? But I
Right?
had a really good therapist, and she really changed my perspective a lot too. Because I feel like sometimes as Black women, we always tend to be like we have to be so strong
Yes.
to the outside world. We can't show vulnerability. We can't be sensitive. We can't, like it's like I've been so strong for so long. And I was like, I even said this to her, which was kind of crazy. And she's like, I was like, yeah, I don't cry in front of people. I think it's a sign of weakness. Like,
Dang, you was toughing it out.
yeah, like, really? I was like, it's a sign of weakness. She's like, but what if you just allowed yourself to? And then I was like, and then I just started bawling my eyes out.
I'm like, why you do this to me?
I felt so embarrassed. Like I got to end this call. I got to get off.
But you needed it though.
No, I did. No, I did. And as the more I went, the more open I got, and it actually really did change. It changed me. Um, Allowed me to like. I can be emotional with people because sometimes it's like you have to. Sometimes when I'm doing hair or dealing with people that are going through something like cancer, and they don't know if they're going to live or die. Sometimes you have to be outside of yourself at times. Like you have to think.
Yeah.
You got to put that person in front of your own emotions. So you got to be strong for them sometimes. So. I think that was something that I had to get back inside my inner self. Like with therapy, I learned I had to like really think about myself and deal with the emotions, because sometimes you could just go day to day, all how you said, the energies and all the people, and sometimes it just keeps, you gotta sometimes release that too. You gotta release
You,
it.
you
So
do. Therapy and music help me. Cause boy, when I'm pissed, I'm just put on my headphones and just listen to a playlist that I already got organized already, and I'll be like, "Look, this is what I'm about to do." Because you gotta look for different outlets. Because and then also, like you were saying, like energies of people, you had to eliminate. Even if you was friends with that person for 20 plus years, you can't be around them no more because you have to keep yourself safe, put yourself first, love on yourself even more because someone will like get you all out of whack off something so small.
that is true. That's definitely true, and that even goes for customers. To be honest,
Yes,
sometimes
definitely.
like you have to have those uncomfortable conversations. Like this isn't working for me because all money isn't good money.
No.
Well, like you have to know what works for you. Like you definitely in business have to put yourself sometimes first. Like like if it's not working for you, and like sometimes it's a clash. Sometimes it's best that it just not. You have to have like it's just not working. I can't satisfy you. I feel like you're always unhappy. Sometimes
Hmm.
you have to have those uncomfortable conversations with people.
You definitely do. So, how has business been since things have like opened up a lot more and everything when you just thought everything was falling apart?
Business is doing great. It makes me think like it's interesting too because this happens sometimes throughout like my business life. Is like sometimes it'd be like dead times and I'd be like answering the flight. Is the phone on? Like and that's what entrepreneurship is. You could have a great run and then it'd be just completely dead. You can have sales today, no sales tomorrow. The unknown is one of those things you just got to deal with. So I at that point I kind of was saying like it was funny because I was like maybe the world ain't coming back. Like maybe this is what it is. We the world's changed completely. Like I was like the world's changed completely. People don't want to spend money on hair. They don't have it. People aren't working right now. The economy, money's not flowing like it normally does. But miraculously, things happen. And I was like, And I always got to thank my people because tax season, they always come and get their hair.
Girl, listen, that
So
time is
like,
here.
tax season. I just got to hold out to tax season.
That time is here. So
Mhm.
when you get in the spots when you're not making any money, what solution or advice could you give someone that reached those times on when you do have a good run and then you don't have a good run? Do you find yourself saving money and managing it differently for that?
That's it. You got to have really great money management. And I think you know what? It's weird too because I feel like a lot of hairstylists they don't have really good money management skills because when you're in a business where you're constantly getting a ever flow of cash, it's like I can make it tomorrow. So
Right,
many hairstylists I mentor, they can make $1,000 a day, but it's like I'm going to make it tomorrow. So they just like their cash flow is really bad. Like for in the hair industry, cash flow usually for most hair professionals is not good. We're burning more cash than we get in at most times. So I really had to I found a mentor that really helped me with my finances and just making better decisions and honestly planning things out, like being very strategic about how I spend money. Because there was a point where like I say, oh, I see this ad, this person's a business coach. Oh, let me just let me get their services right now. Oh, let me do this. Let me do this. Oh, these radio ads. Let me do that. And there's no like, plan for that. So I
right.
so in the beginning of the year, I always try to plan out my year and then I have to really stick to it. Even though, like I see things that I might want, it's just like, no, that's not part of what I planned on doing for the year. So I can't do it right now. So,
Ooh.
that's that. It's I'm not there yet. I'm not perfect, but
So discipline,
I'm not there yet.
discipline heavy, man. Discipline ain't no joke.
No, it's not.
It's not. It's like you gotta strengthen all these other areas before you actually be disciplined, and you be failing like a bug.
Mhm.
And you be
Listen,
like, dang.
then if you really disciplined and you're paying all your bills, you be like, that what I do? I didn't work so much. Shoot, I ain't even seen nothing, seen none of it.
Exactly. So, tell me one of your biggest failures that you have made while running your business.
One of my biggest failures. I want to give you a good one. Let me see. I've done a lot of things. I've done
I mean, to a point, you was
not
like,
planning things. Planning has a lot to do with things. Sometimes, like I used to be like, like I always see the glass full all the time. So
uh,
sometimes I don't really think about things, but like I bought a whole bunch of even right before COVID, I had bought a whole bunch of smart vending machines because I was gonna put them in the mall, and I didn't really think about implementing how that was going to navigate. Like, how am I going to get these machines to all these different states? Then I was like, ooh, I can't really. And I was about to sign on the dotted line to the mall, and I'm like, but it might work. I'm like, wait, let me really do some market research and see are people actually even going to malls?
right,
So, I think a lot of times I spent money on things frivolously. Like even before when we were talking about, you know, you might see a person, an influencer, like, ooh, let me try to pay them to do like get some sales, and then they don't follow through with what the end of the deal was, and I'm
right.
like, hey, I'm scoping out that IG, like, is that my hair?
It look like
So
it, but you still don't know.
like, it looks like it might be it. It might be it. I don't know. You just go by.
Just giving them your whole bag and for free for them
Listen,
to tag you.
I really do feel like one of the biggest people that get scammed are small business owners and entrepreneurs. Like the things that, because you're just trying to make it and you'll spend your very last on trying to make it. And then you be like,
Get
really?
bamboozled.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get bamboozled so
Yeah. No, I
heavy.
did. Yeah. When actually, you know what? I'll say when I first started my company, I didn't really think about like fraud, and the industry has a lot of fraud. So I remember once when I had first got my website, I was getting orders after orders after order. I was just shipping them out. Like, ooh. Then it was like fraud, fraud, fraud. And I didn't really look at like, like making sure the billing and the shipping address was the same name. I had to get me a which I recommend anybody. It has an e-commerce website. I love Fraud Labs. It's a free software that it like it like notifies you if like the IP address is different or something like that. So that's one of the biggest mistakes I made. Because then you send the product out and then you got to return the money and you lose the product and then you get a fee from the merchant provider because it's like you're a willing participant in fraud. So you get screwed 3 ways.
Damn. Just took
Yeah.
a huge damn loss.
Yeah, listen.
Oh
I
my
was
God.
just telling somebody this today. I was like, I remember this one. I was an idiot. I had sent this. I'm like, I didn't put 2 and 2 together. She had ordered like 7 different orders, and I was just shipping them along. Then they all hit at once. I was like, what? Then I was like, let me go to this address because it didn't even dawn on me. Like, why would they have me go on the website and we have a store in the same city? Go to the address. It's an abandoned building.
Damn.
So they were just getting packages shipped there and just left. I was like, oh my God. So yeah, you gotta be careful.
Dude, because people be cleaning up on some hair. They don't care. I done seen so many hair salons or wig spots. They just go in there and just rob them, take everything.
Listen, I just seen a video actually. I was like, really? You had to mace the person in the eyes? Like just for a beauty supply store wig? Like, come.
Man, people don't play about their hair.
Listen.
So besides you selling hair and you helping out cancer patients, just people that's suffering from hair loss, what are other business ventures that you do have that you like, I need some other streams of income?
Well, currently about to close on this multi-use building, which is basically, it encompasses commercial spaces and residential. So I'll be getting, well, I don't know how good or bad this is because we've been here for 7 years. So the people my neighbors that, we were like, now I'm going to be their landlord. Hopefully they don't switch up on me.
So they don't know that you own it now.
Well, we've been going through the process for about 6 months. So
okay,
they're pretty aware. But you know how when the relationship changes, they're gonna probably be like, look it, you gotta fix this, you gotta fix that. I was like, can y'all just make sure all the issues call the previous owner?
Right.
I don't even own the building yet. Like, listen, you call the management company. That has nothing to do with me yet.
Man, they about to woo-wee.
Oh yeah. So yeah. It could be good and bad, but I really do. I do like everyone in the building. They call us like the Black Wall Street. It's all Black-owned businesses in here, and they're all pretty successful. So, knocking on wood, we're all here for a very long time. And then I'm in the process. It's not fully complete, but I do want to start like an incubator for like especially Black and brown new startups. Because sometimes when you're new, you don't have the right information. Like, I know people that, you can get an EIN for free. They'd be paying people $1,500.
Man, don't.
So it's like, I want to help people because, definitely, I think, you do definitely need mentors, and anybody that has experience with what you're doing, you should always reach out to. And sometimes, that could be a hard conversation to have with people. Like, they don't, like, I'm new. I don't even know how to call somebody and say, hey, can you help me? Or, like, what can I ask? So that's in the works. That's in the works. And I definitely want to do that because we definitely need more Black-owned businesses, that are going to be successful, that have the right resources and tools to, get the job done. Because I've had a lot of help along the way. Definitely had a lot of help along the way.
That's a blessing too.
It is. I'm grateful.
Yeah, seriously, because I know a few people that's in the industry or young girls that are actually starting now, but they don't have the mentors that they need. So I will definitely refer them to you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
we always got to help each other out.
Yeah, and they're young. They're like 22 and younger.
Yeah, that's what I do appreciate about the younger generation is I was like, dang, they be having 5 businesses at 17.
Yes.
I did a pitch. Oh man, I wish I remember her name. I did a pitch competition and she was a contestant. She was 17 and she has like chapsticks and lipsticks and lotions and she's in Target and Whole Foods. And I was like,
Mm.
she's just amazing. And you know what's so crazy? I was me talking to her and like, we have a relationship now. I was like, the younger you are, the more fearless you are. Like it's just like, like how you teach your baby.
Yeah.
It's like you don't got no fear. Like it's like you're not afraid. You don't have these beliefs or things that are like making you like afraid of things. So it's like the younger you are, the better. Because it's like you don't have those preconceived notions about people or things or anything.
That is
That
so
is so
true.
true.
Because I
Because I
have
have
one young
a young
girl.
girl.
She has
That's,
she do
she do
hair,
hair,
she do
she do
nails,
nails,
lashes,
lash,
and
and
makeup.
listen, I know someone that does that, and they also cook. They got a t-shirt printing company. I'm like, how? I was like, shoot, you get one customer, one from each thing a day. You made it.
That's serious though. Like for real. That is so
They be
funny.
getting it.
So
I'm like, dang, you just multifaceted. That's
man,
what actually, you know what? I used to always be against people having multiple streams of income. So I'm like, how do you have time and focus, and how do you can do all these different things? But some of these younger girls, I'm like, wow, you just got everything. Listen, I gotta step my game up. I gotta step my game up. They got Airbnbs. They doing so many different. I'm like, dang.
I'm like,
And
where you get all
crypto,
that energy from?
NFTs, all types of stuff. I'm like, I'm in here. I'm just doing hair for 20 years. Like, I was like, dang.
That is hilarious. So, well, what different projects do you have coming up? Because you're not only in a hair industry just for one reason, you help professionals as well.
Definitely. I just got actually off the phone with Yandy. She was calling me because she was making sure that I got, made sure I was doing, because Faith Evans and Maya, they have a concert, like they're doing a little tour with SWV. So we're going to be providing the hair for them. March 18th, I'm going to Atlanta. I have a photo shoot with Trina. And then also we're going back to Atlanta in July 10th. We're doing a pop-up shop and Trina's gonna be there. She's gonna be performing. I'm gonna have Mimi and Yandy from Love and Hip Hop there. Hopefully, some other people too. So you gotta just keep networking and get partnering and collaborating with people, and that the more people that know about you, the more people that's gonna buy from you.
That is so true. And then, like, explain to people, like, even though you working with people in the industry, explain to them how important it is to keep a great character and still be your authentic self out of just having that respect while you're
Definitely.
there.
I think I'm very big on integrity. You know, I'm a huge like my word is what's gotten me here when I had nothing. So if I tell somebody, hey, I'm gonna call you at 10, I'm gonna call them at 10. Don't I always anything I say I have to deliver on. And then you never know who knows who and who can open doors for you.
That's so true.
Like seriously, like there's people, and then the funny thing about how the world works is like some people that and don't treat people differently because of who they are. Because someone that could be a janitor today, they'll own the place in 10 years.
Yes.
So you got to treat everyone with respect. You do something just with Yandy because she didn't even know I had already been working with Faith Evans, but she was just like, hey, you have some really great hair. I just, like, and just put in the word. I was like, I was so thankful for that. Like, you never know who can help you. Like, you never know who people are. I was actually just watching a video with Sierra from Love and Hip Hop, and she was talking about how she was just at her shop doing makeup, and she was like tired and wanted to go home, but somebody was there, was like, I have this event. Can you please do my makeup? And she did her makeup, and she was like, and she was just talking to her, and that was the producer for Love and Hip Hop. And
Wow.
she was like, I need you on Love and Hip Hop.
Wow.
Like, I need a real Atlanta person on Love and Hip Hop. So you never know who anybody is.
You don't.
People be doing mystery shops and all types of stuff. You never know who people are. And then, you always should be prepared too. Like,
That's
I've
true.
learned that a lot too, is that sometimes, even though I don't want to like get dressed up or look my best, like you got to be prepared at all times because you never know there's been so many times I'm like, a celebrity will come through the door and I'm like, oh my God, like what and why? Why? Why?
I got this ponytail today.
Like why?
You know, that's so true as far as like you never know who's who. Like I've been in so many rooms with people before I actually got in the podcast industry, and once they saw I had a podcast, they just start pouring into me. But
Gravitate.
I never knew the level that they were on to be able to, you know, help me that way. I just love authentic relationships and just get to know people and kick it with them just because of who they are.
Yeah.
But when I find out you doing all this since when? You
Yeah.
know, but it's a blessing later on, and you just never know. And it just comes from having an amazing character. Like that means everything. Anybody could say anything about you, but it's gonna be people that's gonna defend your character. Like, no, that's not them for real.
I know. I actually no. I'm starting to see that so much more because I'd be like, oh, I feel like sometimes the Black community doesn't support each other. But like there's people. If I go on my Facebook and I post something, I'm like, what? Like I'm like from 20 years ago, we don't work somewhere. Like I've been watching you for 20 years, and you've been the same.
Yeah,
I was like, well, like that makes you feel good. Like it was like, you're the real deal. Like it's not like you're
yeah,
not fly by night. You've been putting in the work. Like even sometimes you could be discouraged because you're like, I've been doing this for so long. When is it? But it's just might not be your time. But
right.
I love the saying Jay-Z says is that why is he so successful? He's like, the only thing is I didn't ever give up. I just kept going. I just kept going towards my goal. Like, that's what you got to just keep going towards your goal. Eventually you're going to get there.
Yes.
It might be 10 years. It might look at, what was it? Microsoft took them 20 years before anything happened. Like, it takes time sometimes.
It
And,
do.
especially I feel like with social media, we always feel like there's this instant success. And I always tell people like that person is the exception. Like, you're not gonna start selling hair and be making $1 million tomorrow. Like, listen, it's not those times. Okay, you might, like it's just not those times. Like sometimes it's just you got to put the work in.
You do.
You
You really got to put the work in. But a lot of people think things just happen overnight. Like, I don't know why. They think, okay, you post a picture with Faith, right? Oh my God, you're the
Listen, that was me. That was when I tell you that was me. That was me. I'm telling you, it was so. Listen, I remember the first time I ever worked with Trina. It was like in 2014, something like that. I said, "Whoa, I'm working with Trina. I'm about to be rich. I'm about to be rich." I was waiting for that tag and that post, and I was like. No, I'm like, wait, hold on. Well, if I just get here, then this is gonna happen. Like, if I just do this, you could be on TV, and then you be like, "Oh, listen, I'm about to be on Channel 5. It's about to be over. I'm waiting. Listen,
right.
I'm buying all this inventory. I'm like, I'm about to sell out. It's about." Yeah. And then you be like, "Wait."
No, but sometimes people hype you up like, oh my God, I'm gonna support, I'm gonna do this. And then when you actually launch something and you have a sale and everything in your mind, you like, oh, I'm about to sell all these bundles. It's a wrap. And then you hear them damn crickets. You like, what the fuck?
You be on the phone again, like I'll be like, wait, is the phone just Wi-Fi off? The Wi-Fi must be off. Something wait.
Right.
Listen, I did that. That's funny because that did happen to me so many different times. Like, oh, once I was a finalist at MasterCard's Grow Your Business contest. I was like, this is it. I was like, this is it. Shark Tank's next. Right. Listen, I was like, this is it. I'm about to be up there now.
But
the cameras left. What?
You look crazy.
No, I swear.
No, it's because
I picked up all my stuff. Like I just remember walking back to my car. I was like, that's it. You get 2-3 orders. Like, oh, okay, yeah, it's coming. It's gonna come.
Man, listen.
It takes a normal person 21 touch points to buy from a business. So Like you got to see something 21 times for someone to buy from you. That's crazy. Like it's like I
You
can't
do.
compete with like the billboards, radio, TV. And actually, I did all those things. I remember one time I had a commercial going and radio ads, and I was just like, crickets.
Dang. And you be like, dang, what to spend my money on this for?
I was like, oh, I was like crickets. But it was. I was so mad. I was like,
I bet you was pissed.
I
You
was like,
probably
you know
did
what? I ain't did no radio ad since. Listen, I didn't do a radio ad since.
I bet you did. For real. It's just that moment. It's like that moment of just hyping it up, and if you post it and everything, everybody, oh my God, congrats, and you just thinking like, yeah, this is it right here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, then you be like, damn.
No, but you know what's funny though? It's like you'll think that you're gonna be getting a thing from that, but then it's just like it's more the clout, the hype.
Yeah,
Like,
it is.
you're doing it. Then it's funny. People be nothing changed.
Nothing.
You doing your thing, girl. You was retreating. I was like, yeah.
But
Yeah,
you
she's
know,
going now.
yeah, but it controls and like our humbleness, because now someone like you've been doing stuff for so long and somebody would be hyped, you be like, okay,
Yeah.
all right,
One of my affirmation is to always handle things with grace.
yes.
And because I don't know. Once I deal with Beyonce, I don't know how I might
Oh,
sometimes you do get little bit big headed sometimes, and like you gotta sometimes come back down to earth. I
yeah.
had that moment, I had to wake back up, like girl.
I don't know if you do Beyonce. That's something different though.
I know, but I actually know someone that worked with her, and same thing with them. They listen, same thing with them. They just like us. They just like us. They might repost that same picture 1,000 times, and they get 1,000 likes and 1,000 comments, but money's still the same. Money's still the same.
You beat the rule, man. Listen.
Listen,
So
I don't know.
so overall, everything that you've done, how good do you feel about yourself? Because sometimes we don't look at our accomplishments and how far we come and everything, because it's something that we feel like this is what we're supposed to do.
Yeah, that's true. I'm trying to appreciate things more, like being great. I've been really more into like vibrations and energy, maybe like in the last 2 years, but one of it is like having being grateful to gain more. Like once I started being appreciative of what I actually have, and like sometimes so many moments you have, you don't like say, wow, like you don't live in the moment. You're just going after trying to get to the next step, the next step, the next goal. The next goal is just constant striving. It's like you got to sometimes step back and be like, wow, I'm appreciative for this. I'm appreciative because there was a time I didn't have I was only eating ramen noodles and watching chefs on TV, imagining the food so you got to really be appreciative of how far you've come, even though small milestones, like small little things, like having a business, being able to wake up every day and do what you want is a beauty in itself, because some people don't have that.
Yeah.
So you got to just be appreciative for things.
You really do, because it's like we be on a go so much, and we like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
Gotta bless me with this. This is just me. But it's like you just really don't sit in a moment and be like, man, like you was in different, like, man, you got a lot of press.
Yeah, that's
Like,
true.
seriously,
I know, and then it's weird too, because it's like when I see people, like I just had the mayor come here the other day, and they're like, "Oh my God, you're so humble." I'm like, "What am I supposed to be?" Like, what y'all want? I don't get it.
But some people be assholes though. You know what I'm saying? Some people don't speak to people, or even it's like your energy is actually matching how you conduct yourself on social media. So if somebody meets you in person and they be like, oh, she really is like this,
Yeah.
it's a different thing. So that's probably why people say that to you.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you're not gonna think of it like that because you like, oh, this is just me. I mean,
Yeah, I say, I'm still human. I tell people this all the time because sometimes you can have a bad interaction with someone and you don't even know it. Like, I could just be like, and because I wasn't like overly hyped, they could have been like, "You had attitude." And I was like, "Really? I did." I was like, I might have been a little tired. So sometimes it's always being aware of what, like, every moment and being in the moment. But then I also tell people that I make mistakes. My employees make mistakes. We are human beings. We
yeah,
don't get it right 100% of the time. That's important to understand that. Like, you can't be pitch perfect. And I think, like, for a very long time I was like, we can never have a bad review. Like, like sometimes you really can't satisfy everybody. Like, it's the truth. Like, but I would listen, I have a bad review, I'd be having a heart attack. I'm like, what can I do? And I tell them I give them money back, do all this. And it's like, that's not conducive to real life business. So you got to be smart about the things you do. But I think life is a journey. You learn. I'm gonna learn more as I grow. I'm gonna learn from other people. Every experience I think is a learning lesson, good or bad. So
definitely for sure. So, how can people purchase your product?
they can come to our location, which is at 82 Fairmont Ave in Boston, Massachusetts. You can go online at intriguinghair.com, and all of our social media platforms is Intriguing Hair. And it's a very long name. And if I could start my business name over, I would probably not have it because no one could spell it. But it's INTRIGUING. Simple, be simplistic, as simple as possible. Because people don't know how to spell intriguing and they don't never get it right. Intriguinghair.com.
I mean, you just shaded your dangles.
I always tell people this, like, because I mentor a lot of people that want to start up businesses, and I'm like, make it as simple as possible for people. Like,
Yeah.
like her podcast. Can't go wrong with that. Intriguing. They be like, intrigue. They don't know how to spell that. I just thought it.
What made you think of that though?
Listen,
It was intriguing.
let me tell you how my mindset was, like, just crazy. I'm an honest person. So there's a very big hair company that was in Massachusetts that they're all worldwide in Care. Something told, I don't know why I thought this way, but you know what? You just be thinking crazy. I was like, I have to have, because they would like doing 10 million in sales a year. I was like, I gotta have a name that has an I. I swear to God.
What?
I swear to God, I'm not even kidding. I really, because I'd be like, there was a competitor of mine that came across the street, and they eventually told me they came because you were doing so well. So I said, I got to be in the same area. I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to be mad at you because I swear to God, I really said to myself, I needed to have a business with an I name. And I was thinking about it so hard. Like, that's what's going to make, that's what's going to make that's going to make me a millionaire. I swear to God.
Serious.
So when you, like, people just listen. People's thought processes be so crazy. Like, yes, I really said, because another business had an I needed one too.
But look, you successful still.
Yeah, I love the name though. I love it.
Yeah, it's intriguing.
But that really was the thought process. Like, really.
Man. So what advice do you have for someone that is having a difficult time running their business at this current moment?
I feel like you have to for Black women, for Black people right now, I think more than ever, there's so many resources available for people, and they're free. Like, every single city and major city in the United States, they have like accelerator programs, business programs. I really say, which my favorite ones are, like, I love I Fund Women, I love Hello Alice, I love Eureka, because they have so many different grants, like, free money that you don't have to pay back. Go find you go to like an incubator, go to an accelerator program, sign up for a pitch competition, just go to a networking event. The more you talk to people that have done the things that you want to do, the better. Because, sometimes you pick up a book and it says, oh, let me pick up this business book. Sometimes you need practical advice from people that maybe are like you, and they can give you like experience, like give you that was one of the best things I did. Like sometimes people are like, oh, someone's doing the same thing as you, like you can't have a relationship with them. You can definitely learn things from people that have experience doing what you're doing. They think about it indifferently. Like, they've already probably had that failure, so they can help you out with it.
Yeah.
So I always, I have so many different mentors that I constantly call. They probably be tired of me, but
hey, at least you got somebody to talk to. Some people need nobody to talk to. Like, for real.
When I don't want to pay my therapist. So yeah, I'm like,
hello.
I'm like, you won't believe what just happened. Listen, it be venting sessions. I love talking to different entrepreneurs and small business owners because they be just. I'm like, they get it.
Yeah, it's relatable conversation, and they be like, man, I know what you talking about. It'd be so hype.
And they be telling you, I'd be like, what in the world? I was just talking to one of my friends. She has a spa, and I was just cracking up because I was like, I needed to tell her, like, I just can't do it no more. And she said the story she had for me. I was like, what in the world? But girl, I don't even know why you even experienced that and went through that. Like, I'm done.
But it make you not feel alone though, because you be feeling alone. He's like,
I messed up this. She was like, I was like, what? Because she said, yeah, I was doing some lashes for the girl, and she had a geo call. She said, I got to do this call, and she's like, okay. She said she really was on that call for a whole hour while I'm sitting there looking at her, and I said I had my lunch, and then when she was like, okay, I'm ready, she's like, your appointment's over. I was like, what? Well, why you sit there that whole time? You just sat there watching her on that call. Like, I was just like, what? She's like, yeah, she was on the bed, turned around, legs up, just and on speakerphone. I was like, you can't make that up.
Man, she should have did that and still multitask,
She said, no, I got to get on this call, and turned her body around and was like, she was getting comfortable on that bed.
Yeah, homegirl's focused.
I was like, you know what? That made me feel better. I was like,
yep.
That wasn't the problem. Let me just let that
right. So, your problem's a whole nother level.
Oh. That's funny.
That's hilarious. Well, thank you, Nikia. I really appreciate you. I love this conversation.
I did too. I had a really great time talking to you.
I had a good time too. Thank you so much.
Have a great night.
You too.